Oh my gosh, folks. Big news over the last 24 to 36 hours. It's going to be approaching 48 hours. This story is just exploding. The story I'm talking about is the college admission cheating scandal. It has taken on a little bit more juice because there are two somewhat well-known Hollywood actresses that have been arrested already this morning. And now it is exposing. We've got crooked athletic directors. We've got crooked coaches. We've got college administrators. We've got folks who administer the SAT and ACT exams. This thing is nasty and gnarly, and it's unbelievable. And for those of you who haven't heard the story, because I assume that not everybody's heard the story, I'm going to give you the story, and then I'm going to tell you what's going on. Why has this happened? And then how does it affect you, parents? Parents, listen to me. You better be careful, because what is going to bring down a lot of rich parents and college administrators, who knows how deep this thing goes, this is affecting you as well. And in your situation, you probably don't have the money to do what these rich parents have done, which is illegal, but you may be putting undue pressure on your kids. And in many cases, two things that you are facilitating, if not directing. One, pointing your kid on the wrong path. Two, saddling them with massive amounts of debt. I'll get to that in a minute. Here's the story. This comes from Chris Quintana. This is a USA Today story. The nation's largest ever college admissions bribery case is being prosecuted by the Justice Department. Parents fake disabilities, Photoshop faces on different students' bodies, millions in bribes, feds say, all part of a scam to ensure kids from rich American families got into the nation's most selective colleges. The scam required dozens of bribes of test administrators and relied on colleges' different standards for student athletes. William Rick Singer, who is the guy who created this whole scam, it was his business. He was offering a side door to parents with money. This is a direct quote because he's now an informant. Of course he is. He gets caught, now he's singing. What we do is help the wealthiest families in the U.S. get their kids into school. Now, this might turn some of your stomachs, but it just needs to be said because, again, this affects you middle class and lower middle class parents as well. This guy's program, or his company, this guy William Singer's company, was named the Edge College and Career Network. It would set up bribes to administrators of exams like the SAT and ACT. And we've got two well-known actresses that are now allegedly a part of this. They've already turned themselves in at the FBI. How did they do it? They were basically paying school officials. In one case, you ready for this? There is a senior associate college athletic director at the University of Southern California. Okay? Sexy private school out in LA. Okay? Big time brand. I'll get back to that in a moment. Allegedly, this guy's taken $1.6 million in bribes to basically, you ready for this? Give academic breaks for special slots designated for student athletes. Such slots are less stringent than they would be for traditional students. So here's what schools do. If you're an athlete, you help us make money, we let you in with a 3.0 or a 2.5 versus everybody else has got to have a 3.0 or whatever it is. Everybody understands that game. And this is the method that one of these actresses did. You ready for this? Her two daughters were admitted to the University of Southern California under the guise of being crew recruits. And neither girl ever was in crew and probably have never even been in a canoe, much less be on a crew team. And so enough of the details there. I want to get to the source of the problem. Why do I share this with you? Why do I think that this affects you middle class, upper middle class, lower middle class parents? Because why did these actresses and other well-known or very wealthy CEOs, other people of influence, why did they bribe school officials to get their kids into the top schools? Because school specifically higher education, college, is no longer a step into the future, a step for the kid's future. It is a status symbol. One of these actresses' daughters is quite the influencer. I don't know how many followers on Instagram. And she's on Twitter, and they have surfaced, these tweets have showed up where the girl's talking about how she hates school. She's just looking forward to getting into the frat parties and going to the games. And yet her mom allegedly paid $500,000 for both her and her sister to get into USC. Why? Turns out rich people want their kids to go to a school for the same reason a lot of you people want your kids to go to college. And this is where I step on your toes. Please understand, it's because I care about you and your kids. You want your kids to go to college because you think it is a worthy status symbol. And if they don't go to college, you're a little bit embarrassed. Maybe a lot embarrassed. Uh-oh. Here you go, Ken. We like listening to your show. We want to get help finding our career path. Don't be stepping on my toes. Well, no, listen. Let me tell you, this is a tidal wave that's coming. This is a tidal wave. Somewhere in America, in our history, somewhere between the 50s, 60s, 70s, it goes from being a great opportunity to get educated for the current economy and allows you to get prepared for those jobs. The economy has shifted mightily. And increasingly, we see that higher education is not as necessary for everyone. Notice I said for everyone. There are still many, many industries or careers or sectors where you do need that higher education. But there are many careers and paths and sectors that don't require a 4-year degree. College expenses are exploding. $1.5 trillion in student debt. Let me say it again with that obnoxious tone so that it gets in your ears. $1.5 trillion, in student loan debt. $1.5 trillion. We are pushing our kids unwittingly to walk out of a 4-year, maybe 5-year college experience with a gigantic millstone around their neck, and we're going, swim. You try swimming while holding a gigantic heavy rock. It's not going to work. Parents, I know your hearts are in the right places. Please know I'm not criticizing you. You are a victim of a culture that has been sold a marketing message for a long time, that the only way to success professionally is through a 4-year college degree and a diploma that you hang on the wall. There's tons and tons of schools, and there's no evidence that an Ivy League school degree or the sexy state school degree or the sexy private school degree in your state has anything to do with someone's success and their salary. No evidence. None. And yet, we push our kids into making a decision to do something they don't want to do, go to a place they don't want to go to, get a degree that they have no passion for, and then many times they have to go into debt, all because we want to feel good that we've done a good job as mom and dad. It's time for reality check, folks. It's time for reality check. Let me speak to this big brand issue. Can I just tell you, if you're trying to get your kid to go to a state school, and again, you get a lot of breaks at a state school, but even if it's a state school that costs a little bit of money and it's pushing your budget and it's outside of the realm of reality to be able to cash flow it, or they want to go to a private school that just sounds really awesome because their friends are going, can I just tell you something? If you can't afford it, guess what? You can get that same degree from Liberty University. I talk about them every day on the show. They get 700 degree programs plus. And you can do it online. Who cares if junior goes away to school? Who cares? The bigger question is, what does Junior want to do? What was Junior created to do? You got programs like Liberty University that are blowing the doors off of everybody else because you can do it on your time and at your budget. Who cares if nobody knows the name of the school you went to? I can tell you something. I'll bet if I went out on the streets of Nashville right now and I asked 10 people if they knew Liberty University, I bet you half of them don't, but the half that do probably know their online program. That's how big of a deal they become there. Now, here's the deal. You don't need the big-time school name on a diploma to be successful. Joe, when was the last time you went to a doctor's office and before you saw the doctor, you asked the nurse to bring in his frames with his medical school diplomas on them? Never? Madison, when was the last time that you ever asked a doctor to show you his credentials before he saw you for whatever it was? You did not. She said yesterday she's a smart aleck. So here's my point. Let me wrap it up. I'm pretty fired up about this because here's what's happening. Status is driving rich people to do illegal things and they're going to jail for it. In your situation, status is pushing you to push your kids into a degree they have no interest in and debt they can't afford. Watch carefully. Watch this. How about instead of pushing the kids into a college situation, we sit down with them and go, can we talk to you about what we see as your talents, the things you do well? Can we talk to you about what we think are your passions, things that you've always loved to do? What are the different ways we think that you think you could use those talents to do the thing you love? How about that conversation with your kid? How about taking the pressure off of them? If they're not ready to go to school and they don't know, how about letting them take a year and they get out there and try a couple things in this workforce where they think they might be interested? They're not falling behind. Guess what? If they go to school the next year and they're on purpose, they're probably going to pass the same people who went to school, and they're going to take 5 years, maybe 6. And they're going to come out $80,000 to $120,000, $150,000 in debt, and your kid doesn't. How about that? What if your kid wants to go into a trade? You know what? Let me give you some more data. Recent poll of Generation Z. These are kids that are in school right now, high school. 40% of them said they don't plan to go to college. They want to start a business coming out of high school. Now, let's not talk about whether or not that's going to happen, the success rate. No. This is what they want to do. They've seen the economy. They know what's going on. They see that you can start a business. They got friends that are making money, cutting lawns, washing cars, whatever it is. Generation Z and the Millennials, more so than any previous generations, want to do work that matters to them. Here's another piece of data. Millennials look for a job that they're good at and that they really enjoy. The work matters to them. Those are the top 2 things they're looking for in a job. You know what number 3 is? Compensation. The world is changing. I'm here to tell you, I'm going to go out on a limb, Joe. I'm feeling really frisky today. I think higher education is going to absolutely get slammed with a tidal wave in the next 5-10 years, and they're going to have to adjust.